Ancient China, known about the Milky Way and the solar system. The flying stream goes straight down 3,000 feet, and it is suspected that the Milky Way falls for 9 days. Li Bai wrote this poem more than 1,000 years ago. It shows that people have known about the Milky Way for a long time. But to truly recognize the nature of the galaxy, to understand the galaxy is to encompass. The spiral galaxies of the solar system that live in it have been around since the modern era. In fact, the discovery of the Milky Way by modern astronomers has been a long time. When Galileo first observed the Milky Way with a telescope, people know that the Milky Way is made up of stars. By 1750 the Englishman Thomas Wright had proposed the Milky Way in all. The view that the stars constitute a huge flattened system. This is the first description of the shape of the Milky Way. Subsequently, the German philosopher Immanuel Kant pointed out in 1755 a huge celestial system may form between the stars and the Milky Way. The following year was 1785. The main part of the distribution of stars in the Milky Way is a flat disk. Structure. He then looked through a telescope with his eyes. Methods counted 117,600 stars. Based on the observations, the Milky Way was confirmed for the first time as a flattened disk. Hypothesis. Subsequently, the American astronomer Shapley, after 4 years of observations, in 1918, it was proposed that the solar system was not at the center of the Milky Way. Rather, it's a view at the edge of the galaxy. Based on his observations, he meticulously studied the structure and size of the Milky Way. Eventually, a model of the Milky Way was proposed, i.e. the Milky Way is a lenticular star system. The solar system is not at the center. This model later proved to be correct. Shapley's observations are further for people. The star system for the manifestation is called the Milky Way. Now we know the Milky Way is a galaxy consisting of 1,400 billion stars, thousands of star clusters and nebulae. The diameter is about 100,000 light-years and the center thickness is about 10,000 light-years. Huge spiral galaxies containing the solar system. The latest research results show the Milky Way is a barred spiral galaxy, not just an ordinary spiral galaxy. In terms of shape, the Milky Way is a middle thick, flattened discoid with thin edges. It looks like a giant discus in the air. Compositionally, the Milky Way is largely made up of silver plates. The nuclear ball is composed of 4 parts, the silver halo and the dark halo. The galactic disk is the bulk of the galactic star distribution. It is a flat disk, about 82,000 light-years in diameter. The nuclear sphere is the most densely populated region of the Milky Way with stars, approximately oblate spherical. The galactic halo is a region of sparsely distributed stars and interstellar matter. Region, roughly spherical, encloses the silver plate. Beyond the silver halo there is a range. The larger distribution of the substance is known as the halo. It's also called a silver crown, but it's not known exactly what it's about. And no, using the Sun as a reference, the mass of the Milky Way is about 1 trillion times that of the Sun. The Sun is located at a distance of about 27,700 light-years from the center of the Milky Way, orbiting around the center of the Milky Way at a speed of 250 kilometers per second. It takes about 220 million years to rotate around once in turn. In addition, the Milky Way has 2 companion galaxies. The Milky Way was born shortly after the Big Bang. From this, it is estimated that the age of the Milky Way will not be less than 13 plus or minus 68 billion years old. Compared to the time of life on Earth is really not worth mentioning. Next, let's talk about the vast galaxy where humans inhabit the solar system. You know all the beaches on Earth, and what is the total number of grains of sand on the desert? The latest scientific research findings. The number of stars in the universe is roughly the total number of these grains of sand on Earth. And the Sun, on which all the phenomena of life on Earth depend. It's one of the vast constellations. Stars are energy made up of red-hot gases, a globular or globoroid-like object that emits light on its own. So is one of the many red-hot gas planets in the Milky Way. The Sun doesn't seem to have a clear boundary, like a big fireball that burns. Astronomical observations and studies show that the Sun is at 4.75 billion years ago formed inside a collapsed cloud of hydrogen molecules. And now the Sun is about 1.39 million kilometers in diameter, 109 times the diameter of the Earth, has a mass of about 2 by 10 degrees kilograms, equivalent to 330,000 times the mass of the Earth. The Great Fireball, which accounts for about 99.86% of the total mass of the solar system. In shape, the Sun is close to the ideal sphere. But there are still a few flattening estimates of 1 in 9 million. In addition, the sun itself is white but is in the spectrum of visible light. In order to, the yellow-green part is most intensely expressed, so it is viewed from the surface of the Earth. Time, the scattering of the atmosphere makes it appear yellow. For this reason, it is also informally known as the yellow dwarf. The photometric level in the spectral classification is determined by the following. Stars in the order of strength to weakness are in the fifth order, denoted by the Roman numeral V. To know the energy released by the sun burning in 1 second, that's the equivalent of energy from burning tens of billions of tons of coal. If only it were a sphere made of regular fuel, then it will burn out in thousands of years. But the sun has been burning for billions of years. It wasn't until the middle of the 20th century that people fully understood this question. It turns out that the energy of the sun and stars comes from the release of nuclear energy. In terms of chemical composition, about 3/4 of the mass of the sun is hydrogen. The rest is almost helium. When hydrogen fuses into helium at high temperatures and pressures, it will release a huge amount of nuclear energy. That's why the sun can keep burning for that long. The sun is a very magnetically active star. It supports a powerful magnetic field that changes year after year. The sun's magnetic field causes a lot of influences, such as sunspots on the surface of the sun, solar flares, solar wind, etc. These are known as solar activity. Although the average distance between the sun and the earth is 150 million kilometers. However, solar activity still has an impact on the lives of people on earth, such as disrupting radio communications, etc. With the sun as the center, the sun and everything around it are subject to the gravitational pull of the sun. The constrained celestial bodies make up a collection. This aggregate is the solar system. There are currently 8 main planets in the solar system, at least 165 known satellites, 5 dwarf planets that have been identified, and thousands of small celestial bodies of the solar system. These small bodies include the asteroid Kuiper belt objects, comets and interstellar dust. According to the distance to the Sun, the 8 planets in the solar system are Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune. 6 of these planets are orbited by natural moons. In the outer side of the solar system, the planets are also made of dust and many small particles made up of planetary rings. Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn are all named after the 5 elements in China. The rest, as in the West, are in the form of gods and goddesses from Greek and Roman mythological stories. For the name. In addition, like the Earth's satellite is the Moon. Other planets in the solar system also have their own moons orbiting, such as Jupiter's Galileo moon Europa, Io, Europa. Europa, Ganymede, Ganymede, Ganymede. Callisto, and Saturn's moon Titan, Titan. And Neptune's captured moon Triton, Triton. Everything grows on the sun. It is because of the heat and light of the sun. Current science and technology have given us a basic understanding of the solar system. It is believed that with the rapid development of science, we will find out more about the solar system in the future, and use them to better serve humanity itself. Next issue discusses the expansion of the universe and the mystery of the pyramid.